promise this will make sense later in the video, but for now, just kind of roll with me. Flickle! When we think back on 2020, I think we can all agree that it was a particularly hard year to make new things, like new music, new content, new shows, like new anything. It requires much more precaution, more steps, more checks, more time, and rightfully so because it's to keep people safe, but the whole creation process just became a lot more difficult. So you have to imagine when I saw a completely new community spin up specifically because of the restrictions that the pandemic imposed on everyone, I was shocked, a little confused, but also very impressed and entertained. If you're not too sure who Kenny Beats is, let me give you a quick rundown. Kenneth Charles Bloom, aka Kenny Beats, is a very tall 29-year-old man from Connecticut. He's been doing music for over half his life, and when he interned a little bit, he ended up making some beats for some pretty big names, and then ended up going to Berkeley to study some jazz guitar and some music business. Right now, if you know Kenny, it's probably because of him and Rico Nasty. They are probably hip-hop's most recent and hot power duo. Kenny produces a lot for Rico, and they just work really well together. If you're into hip-hop, you already know that. I'm not saying anything new to you. Anyway, in around March of 2019, Kenny started this YouTube series called The Cave. It easily became super popular because it gave you an inside look into Kenny's craft, specifically the parts that would really never get on camera, like that very important producer-artist interaction and how that goes. An artist comes in, they hang around, they shoot the shit, they maybe smoke a little weed. And usually within 20 minutes, Kenny and the artist work out like what they're feeling that day and get a loop or a beat that they want to lay a freestyle over. Everyone from Earth Gang to Mark Rebillet to Denzel Curry to Joji to Lil Yachty to Doja and many more have been invited on. There are really only a handful of episodes that haven't clocked 1 million views, and if they haven't already, I'm sure they will, because it's explosive, it's exciting, it's entertaining, it's unique, and it's exactly what you would want to see if you were a fan of any of these artists. So fast forward to, well, you know.
Mysterious pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan, China.
A new type of coronavirus.
And Kenny is forced to get creative as a music producer trying to make video content. He ditches YouTube, probably realizing that the more lucrative game for anyone these days is Twitch. He also ends up ditching the cave itself, which he kind of admits wasn't the best space, and he actually gets a hold of his own studio space. It's pretty nice. And he just starts producing beats live on Twitch, but the difference is this time is that he can, you know, talk to his audience, interact with them, answer questions, kind of take their input, and just do his thing. This is where YouTube highlight channels come in because I think they're the crux of this whole operation. If you're not like really familiar with the YouTube Twitch relationship, it's just like basically a YouTube channel will clip important parts of a Twitch stream and put them on YouTube to get them to people on YouTube so that they're easier to access and people on YouTube don't miss out. I'll admit I found out about these streams through the highlight channels on YouTube. I was not browsing Twitch, I was not looking for it. You have two major players in the highlight clipping game in the Kenny community. One is CLA Woo, which is a nod to one of Chris Lord Allergy's shitty vocal plugins. It's an inside joke on the stream.
CLA Woo! And this is the worst stream.
The other is Flickle. See, now you understand the intro. And both of them started clipping Kenny, you know, making a certain kind of beat with a certain kind of acapella on top of it, giving a certain piece of advice, giving a certain tutorial on how to do something, like, you know, stuff like that. Eventually we arrive at the point where Kenny does the most genius thing I think I've seen anyone do in a long time, content creation wise. I don't know if he was the first to do it, I'm not claiming he pioneered this format on the internet, but he started his own beat battle. Kenny gives everyone in the stream a certain amount of time. I think the most they've gotten is 2 hours. Sometimes they get 1 hour or less, whatever. It depends, I guess, what Kenny's doing that day. But they get a certain amount of time to flip a sample. A sample is just like a clip of some other kind of musical or just audio element. And usually the sample was hot garbage, but that's kind of the point. Is like, if you're a good enough producer, you can make hot garbage sound just hot. Fielding all the producer talent on the internet, from amateur to as professional as possible, anyone could have their beat put in front of Kenneth Charles Bloom to listen to and critique or even praise, if you placed top 10 in the battle from audience voting. And if you were lucky enough, you would have a really fire beat for the day that Kenny invited a guest judge like Timbo or Isaiah Rashad. Keep in mind, with a Twitch subscription, anyone has the resources to win one of these if they really wanted to. There's a Discord for the stream of like, I think 80,000 people or something crazy, where anyone can ask questions on anything about like music theory, engineering, producing. There's even like a mental health thread, which is super great. And not to mention, with the Twitch subscription, you can learn directly from Kenny. You can type something in and he might answer it live on Twitch. I don't know, maybe this is just me geeking over something musical, but just the idea of putting like the internet's best unknown producer talent in one pool and watching everyone listen and react to it live and just enjoy it, that's just really fun to me. So anyway, with the battles, you start to see some familiar faces in the winner's circle. Particularly for me, my favorites, and I think a lot of other people's favorites, are OK Sammy and Hellberg. I just think a lot of, if not all, what they produce is just awesome stuff. But Kenny does the right thing and jokingly bans people who win a lot just to give other people some love, let other people shine.
It's like, Hellberg, you've won a lot of times. We know when you enter, you're gonna fucking kill it. Okay, Sammy, we know he's gonna fucking murder it. Yes, that is the illest beat, but we gotta give new shine. We gotta give new shine. We gotta give new shine. We have to give new people shine.
And I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, if you have the same people winning every week because they're amazing, like, what's the point of the community? Like, nobody's gonna have a chance to grow and learn and get better. This is especially the right thing to do when gifts start coming into play. Companies that make microphones and recording software and plugins and stuff, they start noticing how popular these streams are getting and start sponsoring them with gifts for the top winners. Now, all of a sudden, it wasn't just Kenny's potential praise on the line or just exposure. Now it was like maybe also a $1,000 Apollo amp or $100 credit to drumbroker.com or something really useful. To me, this is just a really rare example of a community where if you invest in it and you invest in the creator, you get way more than your money's worth in return. So now fast forward even more, and the Beat Battle finals are coming up. And Kenny is putting a 10K cash prize on the line. All your favorite winners and characters from previous are unbanned, and it is a true battle of the underground best of the best. I think the most exciting moment for me was seeing Hellberg, after being banned for like 9 months, win the semifinals with this beat.
Alex meets Auto Tune 400.
Listen. I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. I'm going to Louisiana, my true life for to see.
Watching this is like watching the Music Olympics. It's fresh, it's unique, it's exciting, it's innovative. It has a multi-episodic arc. And to be quite frank, I couldn't really see this taking off as quickly as it did without the restrictions of the pandemic. And hear me out on that. Right now, being a producer is really hard. They can't physically network without taking a risk, and they can't really go to a studio without taking a risk, especially a financial one, if they're on hard times like a lot of people are these days. So you have all these producers with a limited amount of ways to make money, a limited amount of ways to advance their career, and a limited amount of ways to network with anyone. And here comes Kenny giving you a way to upgrade your home setup, giving you a way to advance your career and get that exposure, and giving you a way to collaborate with a lot of like-minded and talented people. And that's all for a Twitch subscription. I think a ton of producers, as they've proven, would be super quick to bite on that investment. And the exposure and growth of this community, I cannot stress enough, I think largely rested on the backs, and still rests on the backs, of the highlight channels on YouTube, because I think they're doing great numbers. So shouts to CLA Woo and Flicko again for really helping out the community and, you know, most of all, introducing me to it and entertaining me. I'm psyched for season 2 of the Beat Battles, and I'm sure all the producers involved are even more psyched than me. I'm psyched for all the memes and mixtapes in between. And obviously I gotta end this video with a shout out to Kenny for really committing to this idea and building one of the strongest and just overall best communities I've seen on the internet in a long time. I think it's exactly what producers and music lovers alike were looking for. That's been it. Thanks for watching. Go show Kenny, CLA Woo, or Flicko some love, and I will see you in the next one.
I don't know what a bit is. I don't know what a pog is. People keep calling me a titty streamer. Yesterday I kept kicking the cord out and I turned my live off like 4 times and they called me Kenny Feets. What the fuck am I supposed to do?